Wake up at 4 a.m., hustle 24/7, quit your job and become a millionaire in 6 months. Turn your passion into your profession. Sound familiar? Of course it does. You've heard it on YouTube, seen it on Instagram, and maybe even written it down in a journal. That's the toxic, turbocharged mantra of today's motivational culture. The one where hustle equals worth and burnout is just a badge of honor. But here's the truth bomb: motivational speakers and so-called mentors might be ruining your life. Not intentionally, maybe, but the outcome is the same. You feel inspired for 5 minutes. And then, you feel like trash because you can't live up to their superhuman standards. They're not just trying to inspire you, they're selling you a high, a rush of adrenaline and false hope. And when the crash comes, you're left confused, exhausted, and more lost than ever. Let's break this down. 1. They sell you unrealistic dreams because it sells. Fact check. The global self-help and motivational industry is worth over $43 billion. Not because it works, but because hope is profitable. Let that sink in. Motivational speakers don't earn their fortunes when you succeed. They earn when you keep coming back for the next dopamine hit, the next seminar, the next course, the next ebook on manifesting millions. Let's dissect the pitch. Become a billionaire by 30. Even though the speaker's only business is selling how to be rich content, you're just one mindset shift away from greatness. Unless you're living paycheck to paycheck and don't have the luxury to shift anything but bills. If you're not grinding 18 hours a day, you're lazy. From a guy who has a personal chef, assistant, editor, and only works when the camera's on. They cherry-pick success stories, usually someone who made it from a garage or dropped out of school to build an empire. What they don't tell you is that for every one success, there are millions who fail, quietly, invisibly, painfully. Here's the reality. Less than 1% of new businesses survive beyond 10 years. Overnight successes usually took decades to build. Not everyone is, or should be, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, or Jeff Bezos. But the hustle porn industry thrives on illusions. If they told you success takes 10 years, a support system, capital, therapy, and a bit of luck, would you still buy the course? Probably not. So they sell the dream, not the truth. 2. They make you feel like a failure for being normal. Ever walk out of a motivational event or close a YouTube video feeling worse than before? That's by design. Because the message is clear: if you're not extraordinary, you're worthless. You enjoy watching Netflix on weekends? Losers waste time, winners use every second. You like your stable 9 to 5 job? You're part of the rat race. You haven't made your first million by 25? You're not thinking big enough. This kind of messaging creates an artificial binary. You're either a grinding, visionary entrepreneur, or a loser with no ambition, no in-between, no nuance, no allowance for individual circumstances. But here's the truth bomb. Heavy check mark, it's okay to be average. Heavy check mark, it's okay to want a balanced life. Heavy check mark, it's okay to have goals that aren't about money, status, or domination. The problem is, the motivational world profits from making you feel broken. Because if you're already enough, why would you buy anything? 3. They peddle a dangerous hustle culture. Sleep when you're dead. Grind now. Shine later. No excuses. You've seen it plastered everywhere. The hustle aesthetic, sweaty gym pics, laptops in airports, standing on stage yelling at crowds to want it more. But this isn't motivation. It's capitalism dressed in gym clothes. It's self-destruction, marketed as ambition. Let's look at the icons. Gary Vee says hustle every day, but he has a massive team doing the actual work. Tai Lopez shows off Lamborghinis, but his real business? Selling how to get rich courses. Countless Instagram mentors tell you to quit your job, though they've never had one themselves. Real consequences of hustle culture. Burnout, officially recognized by WHO as a legitimate medical condition. Ruined relationships, hustlers don't have time for love. Anxiety, insomnia, heart problems, and chronic stress. And for what? For a lifestyle you may not even want. What hustle culture really says is, your worth is measured only by your output. But here's a better truth: you are not a machine. You don't need to grind to deserve rest, love, or dignity, for they replace hard work with delusional thinking. Just visualize it, believe and achieve. The universe is aligning in your favor. Yes, welcome to the law of attraction industrial complex. Now don't get me wrong, positivity, visualization, and goal setting can be powerful tools. But when they're sold as magic spells, we've got a problem. These gurus claim you can think your way into a mansion. You just have to ask the universe. Writing goals is enough for them to manifest. Spoiler, the universe doesn't care about your vision board. This kind of thinking leads to people quitting jobs without a plan because they believe, blaming a negative energy instead of skill gaps. getting scammed by get-rich-quick schemes, crypto, dropshipping, fake NFTs. Belief without action is just fantasy. Positivity without strategy is just noise. The uncomfortable truth: success takes more than vibes. It takes skills, patience, resources, support, and yes, sometimes privilege and luck. 5. The passion trap. Turn your passion into your profession. It's the mantra of every motivational guru. Sounds amazing, doesn't it? Wake up every day loving what you do. But here's the problem: passion doesn't always pay the bills. A 28-year-old who loved baking. Inspired by a motivational seminar, she quit her stable job as a teacher to open a bakery. 2 years later, she's drowning in debt, working 80-hour weeks, and her passion, it's now tainted by stress and burnout. Turning your passion into a profession often means turning something you love into a grind. The market doesn't care about your passion, it cares about demand. A 2023 study by Harvard Business Review found that only 20% of people who pursued passion-driven careers felt fulfilled 5 years later. The rest? They faced financial instability and disillusionment. Motivational speakers gloss over this, pushing a narrative that ignores the practical side of life. 6. The quit your job myth. Quit your job, be your own boss. It's the battle cry of the motivational world. They make it sound so simple: leave the cubicle, start a business, and watch the money roll in. But entrepreneurship is not a fairy tale. According to the Small Business Administration, 50% of startups fail within 5 years. The reality? Long hours, financial risk, and no guaranteed paycheck. Motivational speakers don't mention the sleepless nights. They sell the dream, not the struggle. 7. Follow your dreams trap. Motivational speakers are masters of seduction. They tap into our deepest desires: freedom, success, purpose. They tell you to follow your dreams, painting a picture of a life where passion fuels your every move. But here's the catch: dreams are not one size fits all. For every artist who makes it big, thousands are scraping by, chasing a fantasy that's statistically unlikely. 8. They profit from your insecurities. Let's strip the sugar coating. Motivational speakers are not mentors, they're marketers. Their goal isn't your growth, it's your credit card, or the psychological toll no one talks about. There's a dark aftermath no one likes to admit. Behind every motivational high is a motivation crash. After the music fades, after the slogans stop echoing in your mind, there's silence, and often, shame. You feel like a failure for not wanting it bad enough, a loser for needing sleep or rest, a coward for not quitting your job. This guilt spiral can lead to chronic anxiety, depression, imposter syndrome, identity crises, all while the motivational speaker lives their best life on your dime. How to spot the red flags. Not all motivational speakers are harmful, but you need to know the red flags. Beware of anyone who promises quick success with little effort, shames you for choosing stability, pushes expensive courses without clear outcomes, ignores practical realities like finances or market demand. Before you act on their advice, ask, is this realistic for my situation? What are the risks? Can I afford to fail? Good mentors don't just inspire, they guide you with data, not dreams. The alternative: real growth without the BS. So should you give up on growth altogether? Absolutely not. But here's what real, sustainable self-improvement looks like. Have a checkmark realistic goals, not fantasies of flying private jets in a year. Have a checkmark sustainable progress, built slowly, with breaks and boundaries. Have a checkmark self-awareness, not self-blame or self-hate. Have a checkmark critical thinking, not blind devotion to someone with a MIC and 1 million followers. Growth doesn't need a TED Talk or a guru. It needs intention, effort, time, and grace. You don't need to hate your current life to build a better one. Motivational speakers aren't evil. Many of them genuinely want to help. But their industry? It's built on your pain. Before you sign up for that $997 course or chant another affirmation into the mirror, ask yourself, is this actually helping me, or just making me feel broken? Would I follow this advice if no one was watching? Am I growing, or just grinding myself into the ground? Here's the truth: not every day needs to be productive. Not every dream needs to be $1 billion empire. Not every life needs to be Instagram ready. You are enough, without the motivational BS. So take a deep breath, unfollow the noise, listen to yourself, and build a life that feels right, not one that just looks right.